Well, you know what happened? In the case that we're following in Burns, they're actually taking a break. So this gives us a chance to talk about Anthony Pardon. And we have a great interview with somebody, a reporter who's been there watching everything. Derek Myers, how are you?
I'm great. We just are in lunch right now. The jury's going to be coming back in just a little bit, and that's when the judge is going to give them instructions to start their deliberations.
And when you looked at the jury after the attorneys rested in front of the jury, could you see any fatigue, or were they still interested? Tell me what the reactions have been in court as you've been watching them this past week.
Yeah, so they're actually look well rested and refreshed. They're ready to get this started. They have been here for quite some time. Jury selection lasted several days. Then we had a couple of weekends since they started jury selection. They're ready to be here, but they did show up this morning. All of them had suitcases, bags, pillows. The judge told them to pack enough for 3 days, and we saw them down in the lobby and actually remarked to another media reporter, I said, they looked refreshed and energetic and they're ready to be here and see this out. If that takes 3 days, then so be it. But they did look, in fact, ready to start deliberating. And
that leads me to the question I probably should ask you first. This jury is going to be sequestered, taken away from the loved ones, obviously, if they reported with suitcases and pillows.
Yeah, absolutely. The judge told them yesterday, be prepared for 3 days. We were talking with the prosecution and the defense yesterday. They said they're going to be in a hotel. Of course, for security reasons, they won't tell us what that hotel is, but they told them to be prepared for 3 days. I was speaking with the bailiff. I said, Monday's President's Day. Let's say that this goes into the weekend. Are we going to have to be here on Monday if deliberations are still continuing? And she says she doesn't know yet. So it remains to be seen exactly how long we're going to be here. But I think it's very surprising because we didn't know up until the last second, till the defense absolutely rested, if Anthony Pardon was going to take the stand or not. This has been very wishy-washy going each way with him. He wanted his attorneys on the case. He wanted to fire them. He did fire them. They came back, said he wasn't going to testify, and ultimately he ended up not testifying today. This defense called 0 witnesses, not even the defendant himself.
Well, let me ask you this about him. Have you seen any rancor from him, either yesterday when they finished or today? Because I assume that's what they discussed overnight, whether they were going to call witnesses or not. And he seems to be pretty active in his defense.
He is pretty active. He said yesterday, the judge told him and asked him, said, hey, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to take the stand. If you want to, you can. And he ultimately chose that he wasn't going to testify. He didn't today.
Well, he really couldn't with his record. Could you tell us what that record is?
It's a long one. Anthony Pardon is a convicted sex offender. He spent some time in prison. He is accused of at least 3 rapes that we know of. One of them was of an infant child. Another one was a 15-year-old. Another was kidnapping a woman who he raped and served time in prison for that. He had only been out on parole for about 6 months when he allegedly committed and raped and killed Rachel Anderson. So he has a long record. Had he gotten on the stand, that would have opened the state up to ask him questions about his criminal history. And no doubt that would have had an effect on the jury.
Is there a procedure in Ohio to have a civil commitment after somebody like this is eligible to get out after you've served your whole time, or there was no procedure to keep him in? Because I know that one of the psychologists said that he just had antisocial behavior, that he was unable to control it.
Yeah, we have a new law here called Marcy's Law, but it doesn't allow for civil commitment exactly. But there are some procedures in place where the parole board can extend a sentence or deny someone's parole. So there are some procedures in place similar to a civil commitment, but we don't have that exact procedure here in law in Ohio.
Okay. So the jury, they didn't know when they were being chosen that they would be sequestered. And is it unusual for a jury to be sequestered in a homicide or a murder case in Ohio?
Well, it's certainly not uncommon. It's very common here. This is a procedure here in this court and throughout the entire state that when deliberations begin, should they go well into the evening and they need to break for dinner and go to sleep at night to get rested, they will be in a hotel and sequestered. Misdemeanor crimes like this, it does happen, but not in hotels. They're sent home to go home to be with their family. Okay, so we have about one more quick. Well, Derek, are you still there? One more quick question, Derek. How long do you think? How long do you think? They're telling me that.
How long do you think this
we're going to have to break away the state's telling us we have to end our lives?
Derek, thank you very much. We're going to break you off, and I know you have to go somewhere. We're going to throw to a clip of the trial. Let's listen.